Thank you. I appreciate that. It's very kind. I have taken a different route in terms of the physicality, but the what's cool is that it's like a different reality of what he's uh built for himself. And when you see
Yeah,
me kick and you see him kick, there's a slight difference, but the technique is the same. You can tell it
yeah,
comes from the same root, and that's I think that's beautiful. But thank you. My father's come a long way. He's had a very very intense life, and he's made it through, and he's still staying on track. And we're now hopefully going to be working on a film together. Hopefully, I'll be directing one. There's a couple in the mix. Because I saw Anemone with Daniel Day Lewis and Roland, and of course Sean Bean was incredible in it. But if you haven't seen it, watch it, and if you have, you know it's a great film. But it's beautiful to see Daniel talk about, and I talk about Daniel Day Lewis a lot because he's my favorite actor. But he talks about um going off his high horse
oh yeah,
and his pride and giving his son a chance. And my father is now in endowing himself in that process. And it must be hard because you for so many years you're the leading man, and then all of a sudden you don't step down, you just step off to the side,
yeah,
but you don't give away your position. And and so I told my father, I'm at the same level as you in my own world, and together what I want to do as your son is I want to give back. I want to see you respected by the young audience today, which is why Fortnite is a great thing. um because it can introduce them into the old movies of the past, of why people are so quickly distracted nowadays. The quick imagery is not healthy. We need a movie that tells stories, and that's our generation. So it's very hard to in today's world with technology to give that sort of insight on patience with people. But what it does is once they pass the bar, which is why martial arts is a good self-coring system to do, art form to do, because it teaches you that if you don't do that, you need to find a way to keep your presence.
yeah.
I don't want to say outdated presence, but my father's presence as a movie star in today, relatable and familiar in today's world, and it's very technical to do. So Fortnite's a good entrance into it, but if I can direct him in a movie, which is what we're talking on doing now, it will bring forth a new approach and light on the matter. My goal with it is to see him on a billboard again. I want him to be respected by Hollywood, who has lost respect for a lot of actors, a lot they have, and they're making absolute nonsense, and everything is agenda driven and politically based, which is very sad. Like with Star Wars and Disney and their that whole thing. That's why I did a Star Wars fan film, because I wanted to show to the world you don't need $200 million plus to do a show that looks like it's a soap opera, being the Acolyte or Obi-Wan. You don't need that amount of money. This costs this much. It looks like this much. Look what you can do with today's technology. Look what they're lying to you about. He's making the Coca-Cola of science fiction taste good again, so to speak. I've been using that one a lot,
I like
but
it. I
it
like. You
it
should
but
trademark that.
yeah, I'm gonna make sure you should. Maybe maybe I will. I'll take you up on that. Maybe I will. It's just the guys like George Lucas. They built all this amazing empire for something like this to just crumble so quickly under the eyes and hands and wrath of someone or people that are not in it for the true purpose of evolution in art. And that's why I love guys like Star Wars Theory on YouTube and stuff, and I support their stuff big time, because they actually take the time to do something that make no money off of it, just to show, to bring back what they grew up with to the new age audience, because the new people don't understand. They see what they see, and they think that's it, and that's no, it's not. The backbone is this. When you do martial arts, you think you're going to get good like this? It's going to take you decades to get good.
Of course it
Of
is.
course, it's self-introspection at its finest, right? And so the same with movies. You have to go back to the basics to learn again, to see where it came from, not download something, travel to Mars and back, and still be young, or an android or something. There's something limiting to that type of instinct. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. Maybe on a spiritual side, I'm right. So it's that whole approach in the film industry now, and that's why doing something with my dad is going to be. It's Yes, it'll be action based. It has to be. It has to be. Otherwise, it's pointless, right? It won't get made. But it's how we market it and what we actually present to the world to um, bait switch them into going, oh, it's this movie, but I thought it was, oh, that's interesting. There you go. Now you're in. And when you're in, then it's a pull like a black hole. You can't get out. So that's the approach, as a storyteller, I'm trying to do my best with my own passion projects like Star Wars, Brock Talk on YouTube and everything else. Um, yeah. So, and then hopefully my father will be hopefully a part of those two projects as well. We'll
God
see.
willingly, he'll happen for you. He'll happen for you.
Thank you.
Really,
Thank you, brother.
I hope it really does, and everything. So, from all the people you have trained with in the acting business, what is some of the best lessons and advice that you have received?
A very good question. I think I worked with a lot of good actors, and a lot of them really have just told me different takes on what works for them as actors.
Yeah,
And then for me, it's more so. So my father gave me something great, and it was passed down to him by Ringo Lam, very good director. Maximum Risk, The
oh yeah,
Replicant, In Hell,
great movies, great
great
movies.
movies. Ringo Lam is the reason why my father started to explore acting. You know, my father told me Ringo humbled him a lot as an actor, made him realize where he is in his level.
That's
Ringo
great.
told him, "It's very good." Ringo said, "You'll always be this if you don't grow." And my father, being a martial artist, digested that information as I can't be second to myself. So I will grow. And he became more of an actor. Hence, Replicant playing two in a different way. Hence, In Hell playing the switch of a guy. And then
Yeah, that was another
Max,
one. Yeah,
yes,
that was
very,
another one.
very
Yeah,
good one. Very good one. That was his first, that was his real first, like, that was that moment. Um, I would say my father's taught me a lot. A lot of people. This is a very difficult question to answer because there's so many answers. I've learned that as a method actor myself, really staying true to what you instinctually feel when you read the character is what you need to do, despite of what everybody else is telling you. Now, of course, the director and the writer have a vision. Usually, the writer and director are either one and the same, or they are two separate people that need to discuss things, and then pass the torch again to, metaphorically speaking, to the actors to bring the pages to life and to upscale what already exists. Excuse me. And so, I think that approach is the best approach. Ringo taught my father the string theory, or the sticky note theory, where you hang a string from one side of the room to the other, and then or on a wall, according to the arcs of the character, you pin one part of the string higher where there's a spike, and then you write a sticky note and write what that is, and then you can see because you shoot out of chronological order, so you can follow the character's arc and not forget. And that's something he's always used, his technique he's always used, and that's why his acting is so good in terms of consistency within the movie. And you see it in movies like The Bouncer, you see it in movies like JCVD, which were shot out of chronological order, but you feel the character's arc in there, and you can believe him in Hell. That's why it's such a good transformation because you really see the transformation. So I applied this to my technique as well, but for me, it's more so okay. I'm given a script that says create a color that feels like red, and I'll throw in shades of orange and yellow to make it a little bit different. Maybe even some blue. It's that type of approach, and I guess that's the improv background for me. But I've learned that there was this one time. This is a great story. It's not too long either. I finished a movie called Welcome to the Jungle, and
yeah,
that movie I was a bit betrayed on by a few different people involved. I won't mention any names, but they went through me to get to my dad, and it was a great potential platform for him, and he did a great job at it. And basically, he said, "If you do it, I do it." And we put Bianca in it and all this stuff, and then I was kind of to the side. And you know what they say about putting people to the side always? Either the person's a threat in some way, shape, or form, or they're going to outshine someone else. And I'm not saying,
yeah.
but
No,
pumping my own ego up. But this happened on Mexicali in a lot of ways, and a lot of other films I was a part of, Philly Kid and all that. And it's usually not the artistic side of the team that does that. It's usually the business side of the team that make
yeah,
those types
yeah,
of decisions. It's very sad because sometimes an actor who has representation, who's like a tiger, for them, which is great, makes those decisions because they can at that time, but it makes the actor look bad sometimes.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
what can you say? So you also as the actor, you don't want to lose your growth. So it's this weird like fear based, and I don't really believe in fear. You do what's good, and what's good will stay because God is through you, and you'll be felt. You can try to cut someone out as much as you can. That's very talented. They will always, even with just that much, they open a door for somebody on screen 3 seconds long. They still, I remember that one character because it's energy. So that's the premise of this. But the story I was going to say is I came off the movie Welcome to the Jungle. I got called by my acting coach at the time. His name is Barry Primus. If you don't know who Barry Primus is, Barry Primus is the acting coach of Robert De Niro. Every time Robert's like that whole thing, that's Barry. You know
Mm. Yeah,
that
yeah,
that
there's a flip side to that coin.
yeah, very much. And there is a big flip side to this industry. Um, he called me. He said, "Hey Kris, do you wanna come to New York? Come to New York and stay with me. Teach me French. I got a movie in French Polynesia. Teach me French, and I'll put you in my theater piece." And I was doing theater at the time. I said, "Okay, cool." So I bypassed my flight from Puerto Rico to where we shot Welcome to the Jungle to New York instead of LA. Went to New York for 10 days or 15 days and stayed with Barry. Taught him French every morning when I was making breakfast with him. And then I would go about my day in New York City and do whatever I'm doing and hang out with some friends in his theater school and troupe and all that. And then he would go and rehearse and we'd reconvene back at his place and more French lessons. And that was like that for about 10, 12 days. And the last 3 days, he said, "Okay, I want you to come with me." Okay, cool. So we went in his car. No, went to the subway. That's right. He complained about traffic, I remember. Went to the subway and we went all the way to, I forget what part of New York it was. It was I think it was Brooklyn. I think it might have been Brooklyn. We arrive, we get to a big warehouse that overlooks the water. We sit down and there's all these chairs in a big almost U shape, like a C shape. There's all
Yeah,
these chairs. And he says, "Take a seat." Okay, there's a podium in the center. We're gonna do a cold read? Looks like a cold read. And he said, "Yes, we're going to do a cold read with all the theater." So I see all the kids that I was hanging out with at the time, all the guys and girls coming in, feeling, "Hey, Kris. Oh, hey, Zach. Oh, hey, Maria, whatever." We're all sitting. And in comes Richard Kind. He's a great actor. Richard Kind sits next to me, and I'm like frozen now. Richard Kind, Academy Award nominated co-lead, is right here, supporting, best supporting actor, sitting, breathing, farting, smelling right next to me. You know, and who walks in next, believe it or not, is Chaz Palminteri. Chaz
cool.
Palminteri. That's amazing. He's like 6'6", 6'5", big dude. Walks in, and he's hunching over Barry, and they're talking for like 10 minutes. He sits in the middle. Who walks in after him? Bette Midler.
Wow.
And now I'm like, okay. Now I'm just like, I get that small. And then there's a couple more other people. Next who walks in is Keith David. And Keith
Oh, yeah.
David goes to a piano and opens it, doesn't talk to anybody, sits down, has a big smile, smiles at everybody, doesn't talk, opens his script, and starts to rehearse, his voice, testing his voice on the microphone. And more actors fill in. We have about 30 actors, 20 something, 30 actors, plus Keith David narrating this cold read. And we all have our script that I read on the plane. I thought it was for a movie he wanted to do. It was for this cold read. Now Robert De Niro walks in and sits down on a chair next to the podium. Barry Primus is behind the podium, and he's sweating and he's very nervous. And Richard Kind leans into me and he goes, "Hey." And I go, "Hi, sir. Nice to meet you. Big fan." He goes, "Thank you. Look at Barry." And I look at Barry. He goes, "I think he's very nervous. He looks very nervous. He's all red like a lobster. He looks very nervous. I think he's nervous. He's very like, you know." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I think he's nervous too." And fuck. And so De Niro's there, and De Niro's sitting down with big sunglasses, like, and listening to Barry, like, and Barry's like, "Okay, so I think De Niro was supposed to finance this movie," and his wife was with him and all that. And so we act. Chaz Palminteri, Bette Midler, she sings and acts. Richard Kind, Keith David narrating, opening act, scene one, and everybody is acting together. And it was the best experience of my life. I thought I did so bad that when we wrapped, I
Yeah.
stormed out. I stormed out secretly, and I just started crying. And I remember looking at the river and saying, "Wow, this is a different world in Hollywood. This is theater, and I'm not cut out for it. I'm terrible. I don't think I belong in this world." I remember saying that to myself. And Barry comes out going, Kris, why did you, with his scarf and all his loose artistic clothing, he's like, why did you come back inside? What are you doing? And now he saw me crying. He's like, what happened? And I said, I did bad. I can't. I embarrassed myself in front of Bette Midler because I had a scene with her. I had a scene with Chaz Palminteri. He's like, no, Bette was asking where you were. She said, who's that young man who knows how to act so real? He's so real. He reminds me of Omar Sharif. I mean, that's a huge compliment. And I went, oh my God. And I went back inside with him. And she had left just there. Just didn't, one handshake. You were wonderful, sweetie. Bette Midler told me that. I never in my life will I ever forget that core memory. And so I remember from that what Barry taught me
Yeah,
about really trusting what you feel the character should do looks totally different. When you love that and you believe it, then you know it be true, and it looks totally different from outside. You can't tell because no one knows what you're really feeling. And so I guess that would be my answer to that question of. And I know I talk a lot. Excuse me,
no, it's fine,
but
it's fine.
at least people know. Oh, okay, Kris does have some experience of some kind and survived through it because it's not easy. And acting school is good, but it's not gonna make you a better actor. It's gonna make you a technician. I
That's
think,
true.
I think acting comes from
The experience itself.
yeah, and also the awareness, the acceptance of being open minded to build any type of character you can with no limitations.
That's true. It's true. I mean, it's like I can remember when I studied drama myself, and it's one thing learning it, but then when you implement it into everyday life, or when you're implementing it into the actual experience, whether it was on stage, whether it was on working as an extra, that's where acting comes from. When the camera's on and the mind has switched instantaneously, and it's like, okay, now I know what I need to do now. And then it comes out. It will come out naturally. It comes out for some people naturally. It doesn't come out for everybody right there and then. Give them time and it'll
Sure.
get there. As the saying goes, Rome was
Yeah,
not built in a day.
very much so. And also the reflective thing we spoke about before. When an actor is, I remember I did an acting class once with this, I don't know who this guy was, but he was a very good actor. He's very stoic when he spoke. Didn't really do much. Thought about more than he spoke. And that's something that resonated with me. And so he was such a blade on stage with me that what it did was it forced me to react differently, instinctually. He was so strong in the belief system of his character that it made my character less believable because I was so enthralled with him. But because I was so enthralled with him without any ego, I understood that connection and I used it in the moment and then replied accordingly. And the scene looked and felt great. And you feel like you've breached another reality after when they, yell cut. And that belief system in yourself upon delivery, I think, is where the magic happens. It's just doing what you feel is correct within the bylines of the world that you're in. Obviously there's limitations. But logical limitations from a story standpoint that wouldn't make sense. But sometimes when you breach those limitations for the rightful emotional language and reasoning, sometimes, and most of the time in this sometimes I'm talking about, it works because it's within the same, I guess, frequency. That makes sense.
No, it's true. It's true because you can, like you said
Um,
before, you can bounce off each other's energies and everything, and then you can see where things go from there. And just you have to take it in your stride and see what works best for you. Not everybody's on this. Not everyone's going to be on that same level, but you
yeah,
can all come together at that one point.
yeah, totally. Yes.
Totally, yeah. Yeah. Well, Kris Van Damme, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
Again, thank you. Much love to you all, to the Van Damme family. Again, Van Damme dynasty. I'm going to call it that. And it's been an absolute blast talking to you. I still can't believe it. I mean, like, is this actually happening? Yeah, but it
No,
has.
it'll
I
happen
just
again,
I
guys.
just I just can't wait to see the look on everyone's faces. Like, how on earth did you get him on there? And I'm not going to tell you that. It's between
Because
me and
we,
Kris.
we we understand one another. That's why. And
Indeed,
I have
indeed.
to tell the world, the people listening here, that when you message me, you have a very good way of it's not when you say the things you say,
Thank you.
and I can sense that, and I thank you very much for your honesty and support on everything, and just kindness when you approached me. A lot of people, I get a lot of different messages on Instagram and different social media platforms, and I get a lot of threat stuff, death threats, and all the nonsense that come with it. But I'm over all that. It's just really nice and warming to have people like yourself exist, and it's equally an honor for me because it reinsures me that I'm not alone in this little bubble. I believe sometimes that I am and alone, that there's people out there that understand. So your support is enormously appreciated, Adi, and your prayers equally so. So thank you.
So much to be definitely. Well, we will definitely reunite. And again, as I mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, you ever in the UK, the coffee's on me, and you have to try some authentic. You have to try some authentic cooking as well. So
I would love
that's
to,
on me.
man. What type of cooking?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna let it be a surprise. I'm gonna let it be a surprise.
All right, all right. Fun fact. Don't forget, for those out there and for yourself too, Adi, if it's in your wheelhouse and time frame to do so, to support the Star Wars fan film I directed and produced, financed, acted, everything, blah, blah, in with my co-star Rich Manley, and also my upcoming YouTube channel Brock Talk that I'm
Oh yeah,
building
I've
with my
seen that.
wife.
I've been following it on Instagram. Awesome stuff.
Yeah,
Absolute awesome
it's
stuff.
gonna get better and better. But thank you, thank
It
you.
will. It will. It will definitely get there better and better. You have a lot of persistent enthusiasm, and not much has changed. I have to admit to that.
It's the consistency. If there's one thing of advice I can give people, it's consistency is key. With no matter what, it's you'd be surprised at what you can accomplish if you really believe in yourself. It's hard. It's
Yeah,
very hard. It may seem impossible, but when you reach that first 100 reps, I guess if I could do it 100 times, I can do it 1,000 times, and it continues forward. So that's my advice to the world. I think that would be a good one to follow.
definitely. Yeah. Let's see, everyone. That's Van Damme advice. Good advice. Van Damme, good advice,
It's
I should say.
damn good advice.
He said that, not me. But definitely, thank you so much, and God bless you
Thank
all
you.
in your family. Amen.
Thank you. You as well, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.